Well, hello. This is K Pal from Speedy Tax Services, and I am on the Black Small Business Association of California. So I am so glad to be here today to talk to you about business 101s, the do's and don'ts. Very excited. You guys, I have like 30 years experience. I love small businesses. And I'm just sometimes I'll be like, how come people have an LLC? And I ask people, why you got an LLC? They don't understand it, they don't know it. So we have a technical assistant program, and we decided that this is something that we can educate the community on as far as what the different structures are for businesses. Like, why do you have it? Where should you be? And what are the do's and don'ts? So I am very excited to come to you today to be able to do that. So I don't know how to open my PowerPoint. There we go. Thank you so much, Selena. So business structure 101, as I said, this is my contact information. We'll have a question and answer right after this. So thank you very much. So what is a business structure? When I ask people that, they don't understand. They're like, what? They don't know what I mean by business structure. Well, there's all kind of business structures, but the main ones are uh, LLCs, S corporations, C corporation, partnerships, and sole proprietor. So that's the structure that refers to how you have your business set up, how you operate, and and what the parameters are for it. So when you're looking at setting up my structure, or if your structure is right, you want to determine what the liabilities are, what the pluses are, what the minuses are, and if my business structure will help me scale up, if my business structure will protect me, if I can grow, what are the legal ramifications of that. You need to understand that as a business owner. So the first one we're going to talk about is sole proprietorship. We found out during the pandemic, I guess many people are sole proprietorships. A sole proprietorship is where you are just a single owner. It's probably the simplest business structure that there is. And it just involves you and your day-to-day operations of your business. Also, from a tax perspective, because you know that's where I'm a guru at, your tax perspective is that you just track your income and expenses, and then you pay self-employment on that. So most people are sole proprietors, and the liability, the don'ts or the downside about a sole proprietor, though, is that the liabilities rely on you. That means that if you were to have some bills or didn't pay debt, that you could actually be sued. Your personal assets could be sued. So that's one of the options of a sole proprietor. But the sole proprietor is also AKA 1099, independent contractor. That means you work for yourself, you're your own boss, you have your business, you determine your hours, and you have your income expenses, but you have to pay self-employment tax. Self-employment tax. So I'm just want to like quickly tell you, if you're in the 20% tax bracket, you're going to pay 20% taxes plus self-employment of your net. The wonderful thing about it, you're your own boss. The other part, the downside of it, is that you pay all your bills, you pay all your own taxes. You have the responsibility for tracking your income and your expenses and determining how that's going to fall through. So when you file your taxes, you're going to file a Schedule C with your Schedule A. Sole proprietor. Really a great one to be. The next one is partnership. Now, the partnership is where you have one or more partners. So it's a form of a business structure that, companies have. And the partnership is where your liabilities, your income expense is what they call a pass-through. So pass-through means that you're not taxed by IRS on your partnership. You have to file for that. You give a K1. So if you have a partner and you make money, you and your partner, depending on the percentage, would split whatever you made. So if you made 100,000 and you were 50-50, you guys are going to pay taxes on 50-50. You're going to pay 50%. They're going to pay 50%. You're also going to have an agreement on how you handle your expenses. But a partnership, how have I to turn my camera off? really quickly. Okay. Hey, okay, but a partnership. Hi, Jada. How are you? So a partnership is an interesting structure because of the fact that, you have to, it's a structure where you and your partner have liabilities, either expenses or actually income. So it's a liability. It's a good there's advantages of that in having that. But when you register a partnership, just understand that you share equally as far as the expenses or income. Not equally, but whatever percentage. You should have a partnership agreement, have all that worked out when you decide to become a partner. So let's look at some other forms of business structure. Corporation. So a corporation was really like probably not as, I would say, as important as it was when Trump was in business. Why? Because Trump's a businessman. So what he did was he took most of expenses and everything and moved it to a corporation. So that's an entity. It's a legal entity and it has owners. There's different kind of corporations. We're going to talk about that, but it's kind of complex to set up. I would recommend, if I were you, to have someone do it for you. It requires the owners to comply whatever tax requirements there are and regulations. Most corporations, they hire an attorney to oversee it. When an organization intends to go public through the issue of common stock to the public, it must first be incorporated as a corporation. So there's C corporation, there's S corporation. And so we're going to talk about the various kind of corporations. The responsibility of having a corporation is that depending on which one it is, depends on how you would be taxed, depends on how you operate, depends on how many shares that can be involved, mean how many investors, how many people. But so that's something that you really need to look at. I would recommend that you talk to an expert. If you're setting up a corporation, talk to an expert. But I've talked to Selena about this. I've talked to many people about this. You can slow your roll. What you can do is you can start off as maybe a sole proprietor. And once you start making money, then start looking at other options. Because what happens is when you set up a corporation, if it's in California, you got franchise taxes, you have federal taxes. If it's a C Corp, if it's an S Corp, you got payroll taxes. So you want to slowly think this out. You want to set a structure where you can grow, and you want to understand. Everybody says, I want to do this, I want to do that. But do you understand what you're trying to do? So let's talk about the first type of corporation. That's an LLC. So an LLC is what we call a limited liability company. And it is basically really not a full corporation, although there's options there. A single owner disregarded LLC means that there's only one partner. What are some of the great things about it? Everybody says, I want an LLC. Okay, do you really want one? If you're just starting business, what I would look at if I was developing an LLC is, what are the liabilities? Do you have liabilities? That means, can somebody sue you? The LLC is single owner. I say is like a pseudo sole proprietor. What it is that it protects your personal items. People can only sue your company, but you do have to pay. If you're in California, you have to pay an $800 annual franchise fee. If you ain't making no money, and they don't care if you're making no money or not, they don't care if you have a lot of expenses, they want the $800. There is an exemption for people that started taxes last year, or LLCs, and this year, but those exemptions go away. $800, you're not making no money. So if you don't have a liability where you have to protect your personal items, I would recommend starting off as a sole proprietor. When you start making a little bit of money, then I would start maybe 50,000 or more. I would start looking at, what are my other options? What would make my company be better, stronger? What is the structure where I could be able to get loans and grants? What are some of the wonderful things I can do? But if you're just a little bitty business and you ain't made no money, why do you take on this unless you need to protect yourself? Now, I totally think there are some professions you need to protect yourself. So you start off an LLC right away because you don't want your personal, especially if you got something to lose, especially if you got a house and all that, and you don't want nobody to lose them. Now, let me tell you what the downfall is. What I have found in doing taxes, I got so many hundreds of small business owners, and they make the mistake of commingling their personal affairs with their business affairs. Guess what happened? The LLC don't mean nothing then. If you commingle your business and your personal, you are not protected. People can go after your personal assets. What do I mean by commingling my business with my personal? That means you have a business account, but you doing personal stuff within it. You're doing personal stuff. Or you have a personal account, but you're putting your business money in there. If you're doing that, straighten up. Come on now. January is coming. Let's change the way we do business. I know it's hard. I know LLCs, you're struggling. You're trying to figure out, I need to pay my rent. I need discipline yourself. If there's money and your business is booming, all you do is pay yourself. Take your money from your LLC and transfer it over and pay it out of your personal. Then you protect the reason why. If not, why did you set up an LLC? Now you've ruined it. So, okay, so let's say we're doing things great. We're doing things wonderful. We got a business account. We're keeping everything separate. We're paying our $800 franchise. And now we look up and we're like, I'm doing really good. What are some other options? Here we go. So another option is, I guess I left it out. So I guess I moved a little fast. Can you go back to the one before that? There you go. So the other options are these corporations. So what the corporation options are, you got an SCorp and a SCorp. I love SCorp. I tell people, if you making 50 grand or more, you need to become an SCorp because it is so cool. So what's nice about the SCorp is you don't pay corporation taxes, but you have to pay yourself. So a lot of people, they're like, oh my God, I got to pay myself. Yes, you become a W-2 employee of your company because IRS ain't playing. They want you to pay payroll taxes. I don't care if it's a 1099 or W, you better be paying payroll taxes. So as an S-Corp, you become your own employee. You become a W-2. That's so great sometimes to be a W-2. Nobody wants to be a real W-2, but a W-2 of your own company is really great. And you're paying payroll taxes as you're getting paid. And so whatever's left over. So let's really just quickly talk about some options. Say I'm making $100,000. I'm paying myself $50,000 a year. Well, IRS is good with that. You can't pay yourself $20,000 if you made $100,000. Say I'm paying myself $50,000. I paid expenses on $25,000. I got $25,000 left. Normally, if you were a sole proprietor, you would be paying taxes on that $50,000 plus the $25,000 left over. But when you're an S-Corp, when I'm saying taxes, I mean self-employment payroll taxes. But when you're an S-Corp, you're only paying payroll taxes as a W-2. The money that's left over, you're just paying your normal tax bracket. So if you're in a 20% tax bracket, you're paying taxes on what's left over on that 25, but you're not paying taxes plus self-employment taxes. Guess what? You win. That saves a lot of money. We're talking thousands of dollars that get saved because you're an S-Corp and you don't have to pay taxes, self-employment taxes on all that money. Man, if you get to making more than 50 grand, I'm telling you, look at that as the option. Oh, but you say, but it seems like, I want to be a W-2. Yeah, you want to be a W-2, your own company, because your company's kicking it. If you're a W-2 and then S-Corp allows you to so many more write-offs, it gives you like car write-offs. I mean, it opens the door to so many more things that you could use. And what's so cool about it, when you're a sole proprietor, you write everything off. And when you go buy a house or when you go get a mortgage, they say, well, what's the bottom line? And you say, well, I made $100,000. They say, I don't care. What's the bottom line? But if you have a W-2, you could say, bam, here's my W-2. And then you also got your money left over as an investor. All right, now you qualify for that house. And you don't have to wait 2 years, average it, and say all this stuff. I mean, it is the way to go. Okay, but then we have the C-Corp. The other option. And guess what? An LLC can be an S-Corp or C-Corp. Ooh, this is so cool. So the next one is the C Corp. But the C Corp is that you have to, you could have W-2 people, 1099s, but you're going to pay, say, 18% tax as a C Corp. Then you're going to turn around and you got to issue everybody a K1 and you got to pay taxes on that. So a C Corp is kind of, but it's I would say that's for the big boys. So you're going to pay double taxes on that. But if you're a big boy and you up there swimming upstream and you up there with them, hey, be a C Corp and do it the big way. Because guess that's Trump stuff. That's big stuff. But if you just a little boy, if you still trying to make it an S Corp, is still cool. And then the only other thing is, which I really, really love, is do you know what you're doing? Do you know why you an LLC? Are you just doing it because it sounds good? Then you get mad when you got to pay the $800. Everybody, I want to be an LLC. Why? I don't know. What? And then you pay the $800. And then next thing you know, your business is being suspended. Next thing you know, franchise is all up in your business. And you asking me like, what do I do? And you have to file taxes, whether you make money or not, on all of them. Kudos, taxes, you got to file forms. No matter, well, I didn't make no money. You still got to file. Well, I didn't make no money. Secretary of State ain't paying that. Franchise ain't paying that. You got to pay regardless. So now let's look at the business structure again. Just wrap this up. So the business structure is we have the sole proprietor. We have the partnerships. We have a corporation, which is the S Corp or C Corp. And we have the limited liability. That's a sole owner. But guess what? You say, oh, well, I'm a sole proprietor and I'm making money. What I do? Okay, I'm going to be an LLC. Okay, I'm doing good LLC. You can continue to move. You can say, now I want to be an S Corp. Then you get with the big dogs. You're making $1 million. Selena, you and the big dogs. You say, I'm going to be a C Corp because I'm Trump money coming up in here. So you can do that. You can change your structure or you can bump down. You can say, you know what? I was doing good. I'm not doing, let me move down. So the structure is flexible and there's some great do's and don'ts about this structure, but it is small business. Let me tell you, you guys are the backbone of this country. We need small businesses, but you need to know what you're doing. You need to understand. So I'm going to wrap that up and I'm open for any questions that anybody might have, but I would recommend that if you need some technical assistance, if you're a small business, then you need to contact Black Small Business Association because we have a great technical assistant program. And it is no money, y'all. It is free. We are trying to help you. This cool sister, who is the executive director of Black Small Business Association, she lives and breathes and fights every day to help your business be successful. So we hope that you will join us. Hey, we're not going to do anything but make it better. We have a list of great consultants, people that will help you with a business plan, people will help you with filing your taxes, people that will help you, like me, people that will help you get the right structure. Even I see where they're looking for funding for people, helping grants. We've been involved for the last 2 or 3 years. I've been working with BSBA, and their whole thing is to help you be stronger. They help you be successful. And I am so grateful that we have somebody fighting through legislature, through whatever, trying to make it better for you. And that's my goal and my objective also, help you be successful. So I thank you for joining me today. Any questions that anybody have? Jada, you got any questions?
I guess, yeah, one. So you mentioned the 50K you should start going to, or it's when you make 50K, that's when you should start transitioning to an LLC. And then when you make 100K, that's when you should start transitioning to an S Corp.
That's just a recommendation. Sometimes you need to be an LLC in the beginning. You got to look at your liabilities. Do I need to protect my personal stuff? If you don't need to protect your personal, that's the recommendation. I'm just giving you like a scale of, okay, I'm making 50K because a sole proprietor, you're going to be paying taxes like crazy. So then you want to look at what are my other options. But first you want to get going and move if you don't have any liabilities. meaning that if you're in a function where your personal items, your personal stuff can't be sued. Some people even have insurance. Like I have insurance if I make a mistake. So if I have insurance, why do I need to be an LLC? So that's what you want to look at. And then after you start booming and making some money, then you start looking at an LLC. You start looking at, oh, maybe I should be an SCorp. Maybe I should pay myself. Maybe I should have payroll or bookkeeping, some other things to make yourself a successful business. See, we're talking about longevity. We're talking about lasting, booming up, and never, not having to close down.
Mm-hmm. So you can't, even if you don't have anything, nobody can sue you. Like, can they still sue you if you don't have nothing to be sued for?
They could try to come up with something, but I would say no. I mean, if they sue you, they could still, develop a suit and you have to pay it. But if you're not conducting business that has a liability, if it's about you or you just selling a few little things, then that's fine. If you sell some food, I might think about it because somebody choked, they try to sue you. But if you selling like some clothes, well, okay. You know what I mean? So you just want to look at what are you doing? And then maybe you want to talk to some people in the business, talk to some other people that are in that business. Is there a liability there? Research it, because maybe I don't think of everything, but maybe somebody said, I got sued because so-and-so, and I didn't know, and I would have been an LLC. So you want to research the whole thing.
Right, because if I teach dance classes, I should be careful, I'm assuming.
If you teach dance classes, do you have insurance?
Well, you just said that. I don't have insurance, though. The studio, I'm assuming, would have insurance. I don't
know that. Waiver? You better.
Yeah, I just made like a Google form waiver that I typically make.
A waiver.
That covers it, doesn't it?
A waiver does it. Okay. A waiver does it. If you have a waiver, hey, you come in here and you hurt yourself, because people are going to twist ankles. People are going to fall when they're doing that. But if they have a waiver, or you say you need to have medical insurance when you come in here, there's different ways you can protect yourself.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Jada, you're going to make it, girl. I'm so excited about you. You're going to do it. So anyway, I'm not no long-winded person. I don't want to be on here a long time just talking to be talking. So if you need me, free consultations. We have a technical assistance program. BSBA is the people, and they're the people for everybody. And also you can call me. My number was listed down at the bottom there. If you have tax consultation, if you still confused or you felt this didn't answer your question, I know it was clear because I know how I teach. I teach them everything be clear, and you should completely understand. So thank you all, and I appreciate the opportunity to come before you. Selena, you the bomb. BSBA, I love you. Thank you very much. Join us whenever you can.